Anin. Bojo Michelle Jones Minoa Gagi Gido Jidamo Kwan Dishnakaz Gitaganzi Bean Donjaba Megazedo Dam Anishnabe Kwan Dao. My name is Michelle Jones. My spirit name's Talking Squirrel Woman. One day I'll be able to share that with you, how I got that name. I'm the Indigenous grad coach for grades 7 and 8, and I want to do a huge welcome and chimmy gwetch to Korah for allowing us to come here. And it's been so fun, and I'm trying to get out to as many students as we can and speak with the teachers and bring education and awareness to who we are as Anishinaabe people, First Nations, Métis, and Inuit. And what I like to share is when we do these things, it's not just for the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit students. It's educating across who we are with the Algoma District School Board. There's so much more to who we are as Anishinaabe people. When Theland starts sharing his story, he has a beautiful story. And my good friend Elaine, she was from the 60s scoop. I came from the reserve in Garden River First Nation. And I moved away to Ottawa after graduating from Cambrian College. I was really young. And I was learning who I was. Even though I was First Nations from the reserve, I had to relearn our families. I think I was 18 years old before I went into my first sweat, when I received my name, when I started going to ceremonies. Our people are only relearning who we are, and I like to share that with teachers as well, because we as Anishinaabe people, First Nation, Métis, had to relearn. We are still relearning. And because that was taken away from us at residential school, 60s scoop, enfranchisement, our identity was taken away. So with the school board, the Algoma District School Board, they allow us to freely be able to come in and learn about these different things. So we like to do the tours of Shingwalk Residential School, take you to Garden River First Nation, Batchewana, learning about the medicines. These are different things that, this was our way of life. Very proud Anishinaabe woman. I've moved across Canada. I've lived a few different cities, and very proud to be back home. I'm a mother. I have 2 sons that are in grades 7 and 8, one that's in grade 11, one that's 18. And we've done a lot of things. We've danced, we've played hockey. I really encourage my kids to get involved with the communities all the time. And as a grad coach, we really encourage our students to get involved. So when you guys go to high school, you're gonna see different clubs, different sports teams, different Northern Indigenous Youth Council, Student Council. There's all kinds of activities that makes high school fun, and that's yours to own. So it's not just for First Nations, Métis, and Inuit students. It's for you to say, I'm a proud student of Korah. I went to Korah, I was on the basketball team. I joined, I'm not sure what the other groups are, but the play. Those are things you're not gonna forget. So when you get to high school, get ready to enjoy that part. There's lots of fun stuff to do. You'll be able to add Theland after he does his presentation to social media. Look him up. He's been all over the world. And I'm very proud to announce that my friends have come here. So with a warm welcome, I'd like to welcome his mom first, Elaine. This is his mom. And then I'd also like to welcome Theland Kicknosway. So I'm going to give the mic over to them, and they'll take the presentation over. And we're really proud students here, and you guys are first to see them here. Okay, do you want me to hold for you, or
No,
you good?
it's okay.
Okay.
So, Biju, Ani, Tanse, Kwekwe, Wache, Sego, Elaine Dijnakas, Maingan Dodam, Pelicaneros and Donjaba, Anishinaabe, Keki and Donji. And I thank you for inviting us to this really cool school. It's a really cool school, like it's huge. And even in the welcoming, we were acknowledged right away. Like even when we walked up, like we came in upstairs and we were welcomed right away by your students, and we thank you for that kindness of acknowledgement. Because a lot of times when we're going to places, and sometimes at different ages and stages, we sometimes don't acknowledge each other. And so it's just a kind hello, thank you, how's your day? Just small things, right? So my full name is Elaine Kicknosway, and I married a nice man about 25 years ago. He and I have been together. And then along the way, we had this child. And he just turned 20 last week. And it's like, where did the time go? And sometimes when you're going through your life, you're like, what happened? Where did the time go? And then you're in high school, right? You started from kindergarten, grade school, middle school, and then you're in high school, and then maybe you'll be graduating, and then looking further. And what else can you do? So Theland graduated during COVID. And we're going next week to his cousin's graduation. And I said, you'll be able to see what the graduation of today looks like compared to online Zoom graduation, which he experienced. And I'm really grateful about that, because when we're coming back to what they call real world, I think it's a little gentler. I think it's a little kinder. It's conscientious of each other and meeting each other where we're at. And I'm grateful for that. So we've been here in Sault Ste. Marie almost a week now. It's quite a nice town. We're going to a little waterway later this afternoon called Pancake Bay. Is that? Okay, cool. Yeah. And apparently you have some really nice waters around here. So we're gonna go check out your water and see if it's warm enough. Okay, right on. Yeah. So I'm gonna get Theland to introduce himself, and then we'll do the rest, whatever the rest is.
All right. Oh, check. Check 1, 2. So, before I introduce myself, I want to try something with everybody here. This drum is powerful. I'll play it for you real quick. See, now, this drum has been a part of my life ever since I could hold it. And since I can tell we have a lot of energy, I want to transfer this energy from the drum, from that vibration, to you. So, as I hit the drum, I want you all to put your hands together in unison with the drum. So when I hit it, I want you to clap. So let's try it one time before we do something crazy, all right? Wow. That was bad. All right, let's try it again. One more time. Much better. And faster. All right, give yourselves a round of applause. That's great. So, thank you all. So, ani, bojo, danse, kwe, wache, sego. Nimki benoje, kapisi samat napisis, indigenous cause, main gando dem, kejronang and donjaba. What I said in my Anishinaabe Mowin language was, hello, my English name is Theland Kicknosway. I am Cree and Potawatomi from Wapule Island First Nation, Kajenong territory in southern Ontario. I was born and raised on Algonquin territory in what we know as our capital, Ottawa, Ontario. And I'm 20 years old, and it's an honor and a privilege to be in this space with all of you beautiful people. So to honor this space, to honor this time that we have, my mother and I were going to share a song with you. Together, we have been singing ever since I was born. Now, the reason why I say this is there's a teaching that comes with that. That teaching is when our babies are first born, the first second that they're born, what do? They cry. And so, when our babies have their first cry, just like everyone here did, that's their first song that you sing. And so, when people ask me, how long have I been singing? I say, since the first day I was born. And I've continued with that ever since. My mother, every night, she would sing me lullabies to sleep. And in the morning, I'd hear her voice, just in tune with the birds outside. So, together we'd like to share a song for all of you. And as we're singing, I want you to vision all the good things that you have in your life. I want you to reflect on the positive things that have happened today. Maybe that's you woke up at the first alarm. You had some food, you had some water. You made it here today. That's a good thing. And I'm very happy that you're here. So, we're going to share this song with you all. Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that song. So now what I'd ask of all of you is to use your ears, and I'd ask of you to listen. My mother is going to share her story and her experience with you, with her upbringing. So I'm going to hand the mic over to her, and let's bring her in with a warm round of applause.
I'll use this one again. So, bonjour. As mentioned, my name is Elaine Kicknosway. And sometimes we carry the name that is our namesake. So I'm a child that had her name changed 5 times. And when we're talking about Indigenous childhood, Inuit childhood, or even Métis childhood, sometimes there are these institutions that are behind us. And so we just came from Algoma University. And before it was called Algoma University, do you know what it was called? What was it called? I hear. It was called Shinwalk. And what was Shinwalk known for? It was a residential school, right? So you're living in a town that had a residential school that they didn't take down. They actually rebuilt it and regrew it and had an opportunity for the survivors and the children and the grandchildren to go to it. And so that was the building where Theland's grandmother went to residential school. And the relations that were brought from Walpole over here. And actually, when we walked in on there's these little, pictures along the way. And we're like, oh, there's Walpole, there's Walpole, there's Walpole, there's Walpole, like all over the place. So that's that place of in memory. We never forget where we're from. And how Sault Ste. Marie was a part of that too, of a child's memory. And my memory of my childhood is being raised in foster care. And that place of an era of time called the 60s scoop. Now you know that during the 60s and the 50s, there was a moment in time where childhood for Indigenous children, Inuit children, Métis children had a different childhood than what you would call the average Canadian. And that's why we have these conversations. And sometimes it might feel uncomfortable. Sometimes it might be like, I didn't know that. And other times it's like, why does this matter? And the reality is, you're living at a time when education was what got us into it. Because it was a school, right? Residential school. And it's the education of today that'll make it better. That'll get us out of that thought thinking that there's something wrong with Indigenous children or Inuit children or Métis children. Because you as their peers, as their sports people, as you're, and you're growing into your colleagues, we've been living amongst you for so many years. Maybe all of your childhood. And maybe you as the Indigenous Inuit or Métis persons of the students that attend here. It's really important to feel heard. And I like the way Michelle shared at the beginning, like there's grad coaches now specific for Indigenous families. Like when I went to high school, that was the furthest from the truth. They didn't expect us to even graduate. Even during his dad's time, they didn't really expect him to graduate either. So there wasn't even a conversation by saying, where will you go? What does your future look like? And so I always have told Theland, I want you to go to school. I want you to learn more. I want you to learn more about this ceremony life that at one time in this country was illegal. Even drumming used to be illegal in this country. And it wasn't until the late 60s where we were allowed to do this place of drumming, ceremony, dance, song, language. So there's what they call a resurgence. And there was those early leaders. And I thank those early leaders for holding on to the language and the songs and the ceremonies. And how to regain that place of how do we raise our kids? Our kids are in the city, our kids are online, our kids are everywhere now. Because they can. And it's our mindset that says, yes, we can. Because they've been told more truth of where we've come from. And sometimes there's that place of heaviness too. It feels heavy to carry all that. The residential school, the TB sanatoriums, the foster care system, the 60s scoop. And even, having friends today in the child welfare. And I always remind people, when you're talking about us from our childhood, it wasn't any part of our fault. We were just Indigenous, Inuit, and Métis kids just trying to grow up in this country. There was different policies and practices that were enforced. And you, as the generation of the new policy and the doctors and the dentists and the social workers, or even anything that you want to be, anywhere that you go, you're going to be reminded, whose land are you on? What language do they speak there? Because as a guest, I'm a guest here. I'm doing my best, right? I'm trying to get to know the community, the language, the water, the land, the community protocols. So when we were at Algoma, there was a nice little drum group there, and they sang an old song. I said to Theland, that's a really old song. It's a language song. And I haven't heard that song in a really long time, so it was like feeling really blessed to hear that song again. Because sometimes we need that memory. Oh yeah, I remember I used to stand behind that big drum and sing that song many years ago, even before he was here. So that's that place of, it's not a reclaiming, it's a resurgence, and it's a realignment to our peoples. And you're part of that resurgence and realignment. So it's how we talk to each other, what we think about each other, how we share with each other, how we support one another. Because you're right, sometimes we can't change some parts of the past, but they're really important to know that you know that too. So that it's not given the attitude of it doesn't matter, because those are our loved ones that we speak about. So I want to thank you so much for just taking the small amount of time to listen to me. And if I brought up something that you need to speak to someone about, there's the grad coaches, there's counselors here, there's all these different places that you can go and ask for help, because it's okay to ask for help. As hard as that is for some of us, we remind ourselves, we have every right to ask questions. We have every right to ask, how did we get here? And where are we going to go? Where are we going? And I always tell Theland, go fearlessly in this world. This is a safe world. And he's gone across the world because he would ask me questions all the way from when he was a little kid. I want to learn how to do that. I want to know, how do I do that? And I sometimes have to tell him, I don't know that because I wasn't raised that way. So we'll have to go ask. But we do follow with the protocol of offering tobacco, bringing a little gift, and do your best and listen. Really listen, because you might be able to only hear that once in your lifetime. So thank you so much for listening, and I wish you a good day. Miigwech, hi hi. So we're going to bring Theland back out, and he's going to tell you and talk to you about whatever you want to talk about. All right.
All right. Can we say thank you to my mom one more time, real quick? Okay, so I'm back. So, as I'm sure you could notice, I'm not wearing, regular clothes. This is called my regalia. And myself, I've been a dancer ever since I could walk, basically. And actually, even before then, if you think about it, when our life carriers, our mothers, when they're pregnant, they have their womb, and they feel those kicks. Those kicks, if you think about it, it's our first dance moves. So, when people ask me, how long have I been dancing? Well, since before I was even born. But when I could walk, we'd go to the ceremonies, we'd go to powwows, we'd go to these cultural gatherings, and I would dance. I'd hear that drum. I'd hear the power of the vibrations, the people singing around the drum, the community. And I would dance. And I've continued with that blessing, with that gift of dance up until now. And for as long as I can, I will continue to dance. Because it is healing. It is medicine. Not just for myself, for others, for our people. And that's actually a bit about what this dance is with these that I'm holding. So, this style of dance is known as the hoop dance. It's a storytelling dance. To other nations, it's a warrior dance. And to other nations, it's also a healing dance. So, to my knowledge, this dance comes from the southwestern United States of America. It comes from the Hopi tribe, the Hopi nation. And they would use these hoops to weave together different symbols, images, animals, creatures that we might see within our nature and our environment. And originally, these hoops were made from red willow. They were bent, tied, and dyed to create the circular shapes that we see here today. Long ago, this hoop dance was very personal. And so they would carve and put engravings into the hoop that made it specific for only that one person. So, obviously, this isn't a red willow hoop. It's not red. Doesn't look like willow. This is actually made from modern materials because now, for myself, I get the opportunity to travel more often and share this dance. And so, after a while, you need materials that'll withstand traveling so often. And so, this is actually a special hoop made from plastic. And I'm going to share this style with you in just a little bit. But what I'd like to do first is I have 4 other hoops here. And I'd like to invite 4 volunteers to come and try this dance with me. All right. Try my best here. Okay. In the back, right at the back, yeah, right in the, I think it's a black shirt. Yeah, stand up. First volunteer right there. Second volunteer, this row right here. And come on down. All right. Second volunteer. Right here. Come on up. All right. Right here, third volunteer. And over here, waving your hands right there. Yep, come on up. All right, let's give a round of applause for our volunteers. Come join me on stage. You got a hoop. You got a hoop. And a hoop. Right here. Beautiful. All right. Could you maybe go back here and step one step over? Take one step back. And same thing, one step back and come over just a little bit right there. All right. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to refer to you as hoop dancers since that's what you're doing. So, my future hoop dancers, what we're going to do is we're going to start off with our first move. So, we're going to place our hoop gently on the ground in front of us. And what we're going to do is we're going to pick up our hoop, but as hoop dancers, we're taught we don't pick up the hoop with our hand, we pick it up with our feet. Because our feet has the closest connection to Mother Earth. So for the first hoop, we pick it up with our feet. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the ball of your foot, the hard part on your foot, you're going to place it on the hoop in front of you on the ground, just like that. You're going to apply a lot of pressure, and you're going to roll it back to yourself, just like that. Go, 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 go. Yeah, all right, pick up your hoop. Now that we've got it. Now we've picked up our hoop and we can start. But before we begin, it's always important to honor the 4 directions and to honor where we come from. So we're going to take the hoop in our dominant hand. We're going to bring it up to the sky. Honor the north. Turn to our right. Up to the sky. Honor the east. Turn to the back. Honor the south. And one more turn. Honor the west. And come back to the front. Now, we're going to step through our hoop, just like that. Once we've got it, we're going to require a little bit of balance. You're going to lift that leg, and you're going to go through the hoop. And it'll come out on the other side. Round of applause. All right. Now, since we've done it on one side, we got to do it on the other. So lift the leg and go through. Just like that. And you can step out. First move, everybody. All right. So now we're going to move on to our second move. For this one, it's going to require 2 hands on the hoop out in front of you, just like this. Just like that. Perfect. Keep both your hands on. And what you're going to do is you're going to bring it up to the sky, and you're going to bring it through your body, just like that, down to the back of your knees. And now you're going to do a quick squat and bring the hoop out. All right, round of applause. All right, and now we're going to try our final move. So, I find it easier with one hand. You can decide what works best for you, if it's 2 or 1. What we're going to do is, if you've ever done skipping rope, it's going to be the exact same movement. So we're going to start slow. You're going to bring the hoop down in front of you and step through the hoop, bring it through your body, just like that. But now, do the same movement, and we're going to add a hop. So on the count of 3, you're going to do that movement and hop through the hoop. So 1, 2, 3. All right, round of applause. So, now that we put together a couple of hoops, we made a routine, I'm going to invite my mother out. And it's not just called a hoop, it's called the hoop dance. So, we're going to do our routine, and we're going to go to the sound of the drum, and we're going to dance our routine. So, place the hoop in front of you. And our basic step as a dancer is known as a 1-2. So it's a tap, step, tap, step. So follow along. Tap, step, tap, step. And if you guys want to try it out too, try it in your seats. Tap, step, tap, step, tap, step, tap, step. And now we're going to go faster with the beat of the drum. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, so hoop dancers, we're gonna try our routine that we just went through. So we're gonna go pick up our hoop with our foot. Bring it up to your body. There we go. All right, the 4 directions. Honor the north, honor the east, honor the south, and honor the west. All right, so now we're going to step through our hoop and bring it through our body. And again on the other side. And you can bring the hoop out. 2 hands in front of us. Up to the sky, through our body, to the back of our knees and squat down. And do it one more time. Up to the sky, through, and over. Just like that. All right, and our final move. Are you ready? Let's do it. So, just like we practiced, we are going to jump through our hoop. So, on the count of 3, we're gonna jump. 1, 2, 3. Try it again. 1, 2, 3. All right, and to finish, we have to finish our song. So, we're gonna place our hoop up in the sky, and on the count of the 3, we're gonna stop dancing. So 1, 2, 3, and hold it. Awesome. I'll collect the hoops. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you. And you can return to your seats. Let's give our volunteers a round of applause. All right. So, I'd like to thank you all for joining me in that interactive dance. And to honor you, I'd like to share my style of dance. See, I was inspired at the age of 4 to become a hoop dancer. I know, just a wee little guy. There was a man performing on a stage just like this. And he was weaving these hoops together, creating this beautiful, intricate story, showing how the birds would fly, how the butterfly would come out of the cocoon, how the sun rises and sets. And I was watching him perform this dance in chairs just like you. And I was inspired from that moment on. And so I studied and I practiced for 1 whole year with 4 women who were patient and gentle and caring to show me how to become a hoop dancer. And at the age of 5, I had my first dance for the people. And interestingly enough, this past weekend, 15 years ago, I became a hoop dancer for the people. So, as I began to go on within my journey, I began to practice more and more every single day. I studied and I tried my best. But every so often, I drop hoops. Sometimes I still do. But when I drop it, I just know that I have to practice and practice more and try again. And that doesn't go just for hoop dancing. That can go for many things within our life. So, there's a thing down in Phoenix, Arizona. It's been happening for over 30 years. It's the World Hoop Dance Championship. See, the man that I watched perform up here, he's a 3-time World Hoop Dance champion. So it makes sense why I'd be inspired by him, because he could move the hoops in a way that won him the world title 3 times. I always dreamt of going there. I always wanted to go down to Phoenix, Arizona, United States of America, and try my best to maybe win a world title. But then the pandemic hit, and we were all stuck inside. So what did I do? I used that time, and I practiced my culture, singing. I also play the flute, and I dance. And I practiced all these every single day while we were inside. And I got better, and I got better. And this year, we actually went down to Phoenix, Arizona to go and share my style at the World Championship. And I can proudly say that I came back to Canada, back to my homelands, ranked 7th in the world for hoop dancing. Thank you. So, this blessing, this gift of the dance, has brought me all over the world. I've been across the seas in Dubai, Switzerland, down to New Mexico. And I'd love to share this style here today with you. As I mentioned before, these aren't just regular hoops. These aren't red willow. These are actually a little special. These are actually a dream come true for me. Because when I was 7, I always said I wanted to dance in the rainbow because I believe that everyone deserves and belongs in this circle. So I never knew what that meant. But eventually, we found out what that meant. And this is that dream come true for me. So I'll invite you all, while I'm dancing, to use your unique gifts, special gifts that were given to us as human beings. I want you to use your mind, your imagination, and I want you to create a story filled with all the creatures, all the symbols, and the images that I'm going to create while I weave the hoops together. And if you like what you see, I'll encourage you to clap because it makes me dance even harder. So I'm going to turn the rest of these lights on. We're going to turn these lights off, and we're going to start with the hoop dance.
Did you like that? Yeah. Here, take that. So you never know what happens when you start asking questions about what else you can do and how to use your voice, how to use your prayer, how to use your song, and how you can create a world where we all belong and we don't forget the past and we go forward with color, with brightness, because we're each guiding each other to lead the way until you take the lead, and then you take the lead, and then you at the back take the lead. You have every right to take the lead because sometimes you might not hear it, but you're absolutely brilliant. You are medicine to people. You are prayers to people. We thank you very much for your gifts. And never be afraid to use them. Use them in ways of kindness that show us that this world is a safe world, that stands up for each other, that demystifies those myths or stereotypes to each other. And that's really kind that says to someone that might be coming or thinking of going to this school, we welcome you. We thank you very much, and we're going to cheer each other on. And so for today, I thank you very much for cheering my son on and welcoming us in such a beautiful light. And we wish you well. We wish.
So we do have time for any questions. If you guys will bring Theland back out and him and his mom can share any questions. And again, I'd like to say a huge chimigwech to Algoma District School Board for bringing this opportunity to you guys. We were so blessed and so lucky. So, do you have a question? Oh, okay, the one right there in the neon behind, yeah. How long did it take you to do the dance?
Great question. So I've been doing, oh yeah, can we do the house lights if possible? Beautiful. Oh. So this dance, I've been dancing this style for 15 years now. So, I mean, when I was a kid, I was always picking up my hoops. I still am. Every single day, I always pick up one hoop, either spin it or practice some moves. But just like I was mentioning earlier, the more that you practice things, the better that you'll get. When I was a kid, I'd often hear, practice makes perfect. I'm sure we've all heard that saying before. But the way I understood it was, well, if you're reaching for perfection, then that means that you're limiting yourself to get better, right? So, if you limit yourself, there's no way that you can keep it going up. But if you've practiced for progress or practice to get better, then the sky's the limit. The stars are the limit. And you can go as far as you can, as you want. So continue to practice things like I do at the hoop dance, and you'll see results. So thanks for your question. All right, we'll do another one right here. The hoops. So yeah, obviously these are not the traditional hoops. These are LED glow-in-the-dark hoops. These came all the way from Florida. So we ordered them from a company. They're called Mood Hoops. You can search them up online on Instagram. Mood Hoops. And they make a bunch of hoops for hula hoop dancers. But I'm not a hula hoop dancer. This is our traditional style of the hoop dance. I just brought my own contemporary flair because of that dream I had to dance in the rainbow. And so when I seen it, I knew we had to get those hoops right away. So, yeah, thanks for your question. All right, all the way in the back, way over there. Yep, right there. Can you yell?
Yeah, how did you get the hoops together?
How do I get the hoops together? Okay, so that's a great question. Here. So the cool thing about these hoops, like I was sharing, like with modern materials, they're very, they can withstand a lot of, pressure, and they can go through a lot because of, the material that it's made out of. So I'll turn it off actually right now. It's a little switch right here. And when I travel, I can actually pack these in my backpack, right? So if I take this out, it's battery charged. Take the battery out, throw it in my backpack.
And then he just twists it, and poof. Then they go in his backpack. And that's how they travel with him.
Cool. Great. Thanks for your question. Anything right here in the van shirt? Yeah. What made me do this dance? Great question. So, like I said earlier, I was inspired by a man. His name was Dallas Arcan, 3-time world hoop dance champion. And I seen him perform this actually at a museum. And I was sitting in the crowd, and I watched him perform his style. And on the car ride home, I talked to this woman, and I said, "Mom, how do I become a hoop dancer?" And she wasn't a hoop dancer herself. She has seen it in our communities. So she knew the people to go to that were hoop dancers. And so there was 4 women in the Algonquin territory who taught me how to do this style. And I always give thanks to those four women for being patient with a 4-year-old as he was learning how to dance. So thanks for your question. All right, we'll do a couple more. Any over here? In the back? Way over there. How many styles of dance do I perform? All right, sweet. I love that question. So obviously I do the hoop dance. I do it contemporary and traditional. I dance with hoops that aren't glow in the dark. On top of that, I also do a dance style known as the grass dance. And a grass dance is a warrior dance. So long ago, the young men, they were chosen as warriors to go pick out a new place for the families and the community to move to. Because us as Indigenous peoples, we were very nomadic. So we weren't always staying in the same spot. We'd have to move out to a different place. And so we called upon the grass dancers to go and find a new area for us to make our shelters. And so they would go out there and they would pat down the long, tall grass. But they wouldn't do it in a way to hurt the grass, because we want things to continue their cycle of life. What they would do is they would pat down the grass so that when we came and when we left, actually, when we left that area, the grass would come back up and continue to be long and beautiful. So I also do that style of dance as well. Thanks for your question. All right, we'll do 2 more. Right there in the red, I think it's a red shirt, right? Where am I from? All right, so I am from a reserve, a First Nation known as Walpole Island. And my reserve is in southern Ontario. So do you know where Toronto is? So if you go to Toronto, you follow the highway, you go southwest, eventually you'll find the place that I come from, which is Walpole Island. And actually, my reserve is a border town. It's a border reserve. So if I, like Sault Ste. Marie, if I wanted to go to the States, I could hop on our ferry from my reserve and go to the States. So that's where I'm from. But I live in Ottawa with my mom and my dad, and I'm always traveling. So actually, I always live just anywhere, basically. Where the sun comes up, where the sun goes down. All right. And right here in the blue shirt, last question. Have I done a dance with more than 5 hoops? Love that. Okay, so when I was younger, I always thought the more hoops you dance with, the better you were, right? Because I'd always see the world champions. They would dance with so many hoops. Dallas Arkan, the 3-time world hoop dance champion, for example, he dances with about 10 hoops, so double what I dance with now. But there was this one young man. His name was Nakota Lawrence, and he is a 9-time world hoop dance champion. But he only danced with 5 hoops. So I always would see him dance with 5 hoops, and I was like, well, if he can be a world champion with only 5 hoops, maybe I can too. Because at the time, I was about, let's say, 12 years old. I was still in the mindset of the more I had, the better I was. So at that time, I danced with about 21 hoops, all on my body. That's right. But after seeing his style, after seeing that he could be a world champion with only 5 hoops, I started, getting less and less, and I started subtracting the amount of hoops that I had. And so now I'm at about 5 hoops, but I know routines with 6 hoops, with 8 hoops, with 10 hoops, 11, 12, and if I really wanted to try, I could probably go back to 21 hoops. Yeah. So, I just wanted to say thank you all so much for being great listeners. So like Michelle was saying, if you guys wanted to check out my Instagram, my TikTok, it's my first name and my last initial. So it's THE the _ LAND land K. The _ land K. On TikTok, I have about 450,000 followers. Instagram's 100,000. But thank you all so much. Appreciate it.